The most important amendment in section 135, corporate social responsibility, CSR, 100% expected in exam. It will be asked either theory, practical, or most probably multiple choice question, case study, multiple choice question. Now students, over here what I have done is, instead of pointing out the amendments in the section, in the rules and confusing you, I have directly given you an answer which you can write in the exam. Okay, so this is a combination of sections, rules, amendments. This is the final answer which you need to write in the exam. Am I clear? These are not section wise, subsection wise, rule wise amendments. I am not discussing that because I know it is very confusing. There are amendments in many rules. You will not be able to correlate everything. So what I have done is taken the liberty of preparing a direct answer for you, which you can write in the exam. You will find these are extracts from my book on corporate and other laws. You can find this book on my website, theorymasterslearning.com. Book is amended for December 21 as well as May 22 students. So this is directly picked up from my textbook. Firstly, what is the meaning of corporate social responsibilities? The ones who had purchased the books long back, you will have the old provisions because these books they have been amended after the RTP. So there are few changes. You can directly incorporate what you're seeing on the screen. Firstly, meaning of CSR. Now, what is corporate social responsibility? The word corporate means company. Social means society. Responsibility means your duty. So your duty towards the society. Company, this is your duty towards the society. Now you are operating business in a society. You are using their material, labor. You are harming nature also through pollution, and you're utilizing the natural resources. So the government says, don't waste these resources and be thankful for the resources that nature is providing you. If the society is giving you labor, the land to make, to install your factories, give something back to the society. Company, just don't take from the society, also give something in return. Now if we leave this as a voluntary act, no company will spend money. Nobody wants to spend their profit. We work hard for it. Nobody would like to spend it voluntarily. So we have now, not all the companies, but we have mandated certain companies to compulsory spend certain percentage of their average profit on these CSR activities, and we have also specified the activities on which the expenditure is to be incurred. Otherwise the company will say, we have incurred expenses on our employees, this is CSR. No, the things that you need to spend on are specified in Schedule 7 of the Act. So give something back to the society. Now that is the meaning. So in the answer, you will first explain the meaning. CSR can be on, the expenses can be incurred on the activities specified in Schedule 7. This is used for people who are lazy, who don't have their CSR policy, or they are very happy with the area specified in Schedule 7. They say, yes, we will follow that only. Or if you have your own CSR policy, but the policy should also cover only those activities which are allowed as per Schedule 7. You cannot say, no, I want this particular activity for the benefit of my family members. That's not CSR. Now you are a company, maybe a private or a public company, having net worth of more than or equal to 500 crores, or net worth is not 500 crores or more, but your turnover is more than or equal to 1000 crores, or so any of these conditions, if applicable, if you fit in any of these criterias, CSR is applicable. Net profit is more than or equal to 5 crores during the immediately preceding financial year. Okay, so if the turnover, net worth, or net profit, any of this is more than or equal to the limits, then CSR is applicable. Now, what is net worth? That also I have explained. I'm not discussing that now. Okay, so applicability. First, we discuss the meaning. Then, are all the companies covered under this CSR provisions? No, only certain companies, because we don't want to burden small companies. Okay, so if you are a company to which CSR applies, then you need to incur expenditure. But randomly, employees, officers, directors, they will not give suggestion. We can spend here. No, my uncle has an NGO. Let us go and spend through him. No. If you are a company who is eligible, who fits into this criteria, and you need to incur expenses, form a committee. That committee will frame a policy. They will give suggestions to the board. See, we have identified these few areas. Let us incur expenses in these areas. This is the amount of spending. These are the projects that we think are beneficial. The society needs them. So a committee will be constituted. They will give suggestion to the board. The board will then implement those policies or the activities. The company to which CSR applies shall constitute a CSR committee of the board consisting of 3 or more directors. So the committee will be constituted from the directors. So out of the many directors, we will pick up at least 3. Out of these 3, at least one director should be an independent director. Independent means he is unbiased, not at all connected with the firm financially, monetarily. He is a total stranger. Okay. So out of these 3, at least one should be independent. But I am a company who is not required to appoint an independent director. Then I can have 2 or more directors. All right. So out of 3, at least one should be independent, but I am not a company to whom independent directors apply. So 2 or more directors will be they will constitute my CSR committee. I am a private company. I have only 2 directors. Then only 2 directors will form the CSR committee. The board's report shall disclose the composition of the CSR committee. The board's report will mention that these are the directors, and we have certain directors who are also a part of CSR committee. So you have to disclose the composition not only of this committee but of other committees also. But this is such a procedural requirement. If I'm forming a committee, the committee will meet. Then I will have to incur expenses for conducting the meeting. For, then there will be snacks which will be served. The electricity will be utilized. There are expenses. Then people who attend, the independent director, he will obviously charge fees because he is giving his time. Law has now, for the ease of doing business, come up with certain relaxations. If you are a company and the CSR applies to you, you need to constitute a CSR committee. But if the amount to be spent on CSR activities does not exceed 50 lakhs, how much is the amount to be spent? 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs. So no need to have or incorporate a CSR committee. No need to constitute a CSR committee. The requirement for constitution of CSR committee shall not be applicable. If there is no committee, who will perform these activities? The board of directors. In such case, the duties will be discharged by the board of directors of the company. All the board of directors, when they meet, they will discuss. They will decide where to spend, how much to spend. This is an amendment. Okay. This is an amendment. I will highlight the amendments for you, but I have given you an answer. Okay, let's say now you are a company, and since the last 3 financial years, you are not fitting this criteria. Okay, neither is your net worth more than or equal to 500 crores, nor your turnover or net profit is falling in that limit. Then if for 3 consecutive means continuous financial years, you are not those criteria, you are not fitting in those criteria, then in that case you need not constitute a CSR committee, And you need not comply with the provisions in subsection 2 to 5 of the act. It means you need not spend the money required to be spent by a company covered under this section. Okay, then when you fall in that criteria, CSR will apply. So this is exclusion of certain companies because they no longer fit in that criteria. See, your net worth, your turnover may change due to any reason. Like in the pandemic, uh, many businesses have suffered. So if for those 3 years you do not fulfill those criteria, then CSR is not applicable. What are the duties of CSR committee? See, everything is flowing in a sequence logically. So you will not feel confused because this is the entire answer which you're expected to write. Amendments are in this only. Committee shall formulate, this is the work of the CSR committee. So please mark this as 1. So what do? They formulate and recommend to the board a CSR policy. So they will prepare a policy and give suggestions, and these are the areas which we have highlighted, and the spending can be in these areas. Indicating the activities that can be undertaken by the company in areas or subject in Schedule 7. So your activities should be within the areas mentioned in Schedule 7. Like you can perform activities relating to sanitation, protection of flora, fauna, women empowerment. So these are few activities which are mentioned in Schedule 7. Keeping those broader categories in mind, you can choose the area where you want to spend and what kind of activity you want to do for women empowerment, for sanitation, for protection of environment, etc. Committee will also recommend. So recommendation. So first they will formulate and recommend to the board the policy, then they will indicate the activities, and they will recommend the amount also of the expenditure to be incurred. Institute a transparent monitoring mechanism for implementing CSR projects. So that is why we have an independent director also in the CSR committee, to ensure that there is transparency maintained in the amount that is incurred in the CSR activities. The programs, the activities, policy of CSR. After taking into account the recommendations by the CSR committee, then the board will approve the CSR policy and disclose the contents of such policy in its report, and also place it on the website so that investors can come to know the areas in which the company incurs expenditure on its CSR activities. Then we have CSR spending. Okay, so we have discussed everything about applicability. Once it is applicable, immediately constitute a CSR committee. See, once you know where you are going to incur the expenditure, then you can decide how much is to be incurred. The board shall ensure that the company spends in every financial year. So every financial year you need to spend at least, so this is minimum, 2% of the average net profit made during the 3 immediately preceding financial years. So you need not spend 2% of the profit, you need to spend 2% of the average profit for the last 3 years. But I am a company incorporated just last year, or it's been just 2 years since I've incorporated the company, and I have crossed the turnover or the net worth. The CSR is applicable, but I don't have profits to calculate average. Then there is an amendment where the company has not completed, okay, where the company has not completed 3 financial years since incorporation. During such immediately preceding years in pursuance of CSR policy. So, are you a 2-year-old company? Then average of 2 years will be calculated, and 2% of that average will be the spending every year. Okay, so every year you need to spend 2% of the average net profit of the previous preceding 3 financial years. And if you are in existence in less than 3 years, an average of such number of years, calculate 2% of that amount, that will be your spending. This is also an amendment. Now see, what have they mentioned? You have to spend at least 2%. Now it is possible that the company ends up spending more than 2%. See, it is possible, no? Sometimes I have thought of a project which requires more expenditure. So earlier, in before this amendment, any excess spending was considered to be voluntary excess spending. Okay, you're doing something for the society. So anything above 2%, anything beyond that was considered to be voluntary spending. But that is unfair, no? Once you are asking the company to spend their profit on CSR, and then you are saying that anything over and above that will be considered as voluntary excess spending. So now, through an amendment, they have decided that if the company spends an amount in excess of the requirements as specified in the ad, then they can set off. I think this is a very good move by the government, that any excess spending can be set off. So let's say that in this particular year, 2% of the average net profit comes to 4 crore rupees, but you spent 5 crore rupees. So the 1 crore which you have spent extra, okay, that can be used to claim set off in the next year. So next year also, let's say that the CSR spending comes to 4 crore, you have to spend compulsorily 2%, that is 4 crores. But I spent excess in the previous year, so now I need to spend only 3 crores. So you can claim set off of such excess amount against the requirement to spend up to immediate succeeding 3 financial years. So you can set off this amount up to immediate succeeding 3 financial years. So this set off, you need not set it off, let's say in the next year only. You can set it off over a period of 3 years. Subject to the conditions that the excess amount available for set off shall not include the surplus arising out of CSR activities, if any. Now, what is this surplus? See, I was carrying out a CSR activity, but by God's grace, I earned profit in that activity also. Now, how come you make surplus? See, you're doing something good for the society. Sometimes there are people who come to help you. Let's say, for example, I have organized a charity ball. Okay. Now, I had estimated that I will raise X amount of rupees, and I will give it to charity for education of a girl child or something like that. And I received a lot of donation, etc. And my expenditure, after reducing that, there is a surplus. So whatever is the surplus, that will have to be used for CSR activities only. That will not be allowed to be carried forward. You have to spend it. So suppose you have earned some surplus. Okay. So I was carrying on CSR activity. I have some profit in that. The excess amount available will not include surplus. So let's say, for example, that my CSR to be spent was 4 crore rupees. But I actually spent, okay, spent 5 crore rupees. And I also got surplus 1 crore rupees. So I cannot say that over here I have spent 1 crore rupees extra. I also obtained surplus of 1 crore. So now I will set off 2 crore rupees. No, you cannot set off 2 crore rupees. The set off will be excluding the surplus. Okay, it shall not include surplus. So how much can I set off? Only the amount that I had to spend and that I ended up spending, the difference between that amount. So 4 crore was my 2% of the net profit. I spent 5 crore, so I spent 1 crore extra. That can be claimed as set off. That surplus which I have generated from the CSR activity, that will have to be plowed back into the CSR. I have to spend it. I cannot carry forward that. The board will pass a resolution to this effect, that I am carrying forward, okay, the amount to be set off to next 3 years. Okay, you can utilize up to 3 years. The company, while spending the money, will give preference to the local area. There is no amendment in this. This is just a general point. So you will obviously want to benefit the area where you are operating. Let's say, for example, that I am in Maharashtra. So I will, and specifically in Mumbai, so I will incur CSR expenses in an area around Mumbai. CSR activities shall be taken by the company as per the policy, programs, projects, activities Excluding, this is very important, practical questions are generally asked on this. Excluding the activities undertaken in pursuance of the normal course of business. What is normal course of business? So, in the normal course of business, I generally provide certain services to the society. Like, say, for example, I am in the education business, okay? It is my normal course of business to provide education to students. That's my business. I am providing education and I'm charging fees for that. Now, I cannot say that this year I have incurred expenditure in giving education to the society. I'm educating the society. That is not money spent on CSR. You cannot say I bought a computer because I wanted to impart education to students, so I had to prepare slides, so that computer is a CSR activity. No, that is your normal course of business. So if you are a company and you are carrying on normal, it's like your normal course of business. Okay, now there are certain companies who release their dirty water, okay, chemical water into the rivers, but there are certain rules which say that you have to treat the water before leaving it in the rivers or the ponds, etc. So that treatment of water, that cannot be your CSR activity because it is a normal course of business. So that it will exclude. So CSR projects, policies, programs, they are to be the expenditure is to be incurred on projects which are not in your normal course of business. In other words, CSR will not include activities undertaken in the normal course of business. Yes, this is an interpretation. However, this is an amendment. Companies engaged in research and development activity of new vaccine, drugs, medical devices in the normal course of business, normal course of business, may undertake research development of new vaccine and medical devices related to COVID-19 for the financial years they have specified: 2020, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, subject to the conditions. Wait. The money incurred on activities in the normal course of business is not CSR. But there's an exception. If you are a company, let's say you are a pharma company, and it is your normal course of business to research and develop vaccines, drugs, medical devices. So if you are inventing medicine, vaccines for COVID, even though it is your normal course of business, the money which you incur on that research and development activity, developing new vaccine, drugs, medical devices, that will be considered as CSR. So this is an exception. Even though it is your normal course of business, it will be considered as money spent on CSR activity. What are the conditions? Such research and development shall be carried out in collaboration, okay, with any institute or organization mentioned in Schedule 7 to the Act. So this research and development is to be carried out in collaboration, okay, with not independently, but in collaboration with any of the institute or organization specified in Schedule 7. The details will be disclosed separately so this is a disclosure requirement in the annual report on CSR included in the board's report. So any money that you spend shall be considered as an eligible CSR activity. But the years are also given. So only for the years 2021 to 23, 2020 to 23, it will be considered as CSR activity. Even money spent for setting up makeshift hospitals, temporary COVID care facilities, this is also an amendment, carrying out awareness campaigns, programs, public outreach campaigns on COVID vaccination, program, that is also an eligible CSR activity. So anything related to COVID, you have hospital beds, temporary COVID care facilities, awareness about the vaccine, that is also as if it is money spent on CSR activity. The CSR projects or programs which are undertaken in India only shall amount to CSR expenditure. So you cannot say that I have spent money in America, that is considered as CSR and it is an expenditure eligible as a CSR activity in India. No. if you are working in India, your expenditure should be in India only. So you have to spend your money on social activities in India only. So CSR programs undertaken in India only. Any activity undertaken by the company outside India, I'm not reading what is written in the bracket, shall not amount to CSR expenditure. Now let us read what is given in the bracket. Except for training of Indian sports persons representing either state or union territory at national level, break, or they represent India at international level. So if you are undertaking any activity outside India, ideally it is not considered as CSR activity, but if that activity involves spending money for training Indian sports personnel representing either the state or union territory at national level, or you're representing India at international level, then that money which you spend on those sports personnel's training, that will be considered as a CSR expenditure. So since now there are many expectations from sports person, so we need to give them proper training also. What if the facilities are not available in India and you feel that there is better training abroad, and that person goes to learn new techniques, there is a new good ground, or for a few months you send that person for training through to a coach, so then that money which you spend is not considered as that will be considered, sorry, as CSR, even though it is incurred outside India. So this is important for exam. CSR project or programs that benefit only the employees of the company, their families, will not be considered as CSR. Your expenditure should benefit the society, not just your employees. Contribution of any amount directly or indirectly to political parties under section 182 of the act will not be considered as CSR. Can be asked as a practical question, case-based question. So that was about spending. What if the company fails to spend this amount? If the company fails, now this is important, students. If the company, this is also an amendment, if the company fails to spend the amount, the board will specify the reasons for not spending the amount. Unless the amount relates to an ongoing project, so that I have covered later. If you are not able to spend that amount, let's say that 2% of the average net profits comes to 4 crores, but I could spend only, let's say, 3 crore rupees. So 1 crore I could not spend. This is unspent. Law says that board, you have to specify the reasons for not spending the amount, and then transfer this amount to a fund specified in Schedule 7 within a period of 6 months. This is important. 6 months from the expiry of the financial year. So let's say that financial year ends on 31st of March. Within 6 months, that is by 30th of September, you have to transfer this money to a fund specified in Schedule 7. As of now, nothing is specified, but there are so many other funds which are already in existence in Schedule 7. So transfer it to any of those funds. So you cannot keep it with yourself. Transfer it to the fund, then the fund will spend that money on CSR activities. So the companies, they are forced to spend that money on good activities for the society, because they have to, it's like a compulsory spending. You have to spend 4 crores. If you have spent less, that unspent amount will be transferred to the fund under Schedule 7 within 6 months of the close of the expiry of the financial year. Now we had read something about an ongoing project. Now, what is an ongoing project? First, we will understand the meaning of ongoing project, and then we will discuss the provisions relating to the unspent amount on these ongoing projects. This is also a new provision. In case of an ongoing project, now what is an ongoing project? It's a project which takes more than 1 year to complete, but it should be completed within 3 years. So project which takes around 1 to 3 years to complete is an ongoing project. The meaning of ongoing project, I have mentioned it over here. It is highlighted in bold. Ongoing project means a multi-year project. Multi-year means more than 1 year. Undertaken by the company in fulfillment of its CSR obligation, but having timelines not exceeding 3 years. excluding the financial year in which it was commenced, it shall include such project which was initially approved as a multi-year project, but whose duration has been extended, which was, sorry, not approved as a multi-year project, but the duration has been extended beyond 1 year by the board based on reasonable justification. It's difficult to understand. Let's break it. Ongoing project means a multi-year project. Okay, multi-year means it takes more than 1 year to complete. Having timelines not exceeding 3 years. So let's say that I started the project in 2021. All right. So this is the financial year in which I started the project. The project should be completed within 3 years. So 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24. 1 year, 2 and 3. I will calculate 3 years from the beginning of the next financial year. So what does this mean? Excluding the financial year in which it was commenced. So the project was commenced. So this is commencement of ongoing project. So the project commenced in the year 2020-21. That is a financial year. I will exclude that. So by 2024, my project should get over. Why set a maximum timeline? Why set this maximum? Otherwise, what will happen? People will engage in only 1 or 2 projects and they will say ongoing. It's ongoing. The project is ongoing since 10 years. Every year they are spending money on that, but the project is not getting over. It means there is something fishy. They are just trying to show that we are undertaking activity in some ongoing project, but we cannot see the final result. There is something fishy. So that is why a maximum timeline is set of 3 years. You have to complete in 3 years, only then it will be considered as an ongoing project. Otherwise, we will assume that you are not spending the money. Penalty provisions will apply. Okay, there was a project which we didn't know would take more than a year to complete. But then later on, the board on reasonable justification felt that it's not possible for us to complete this project in 1 year. So let us now consider it as an ongoing project. In case of an ongoing project, any unspent amount shall be transferred by the company within a period of 30 days to a special account to be opened by the company in a scheduled bank, and that account will be known as an unspent corporate social responsibility account. Ma'am, it's slightly confusing. Don't worry, I have a note for you. Let's go through that. Let's go through the note now. So what is the CSR expenditure? It should be 2% of the average net profit of the company made during the 3 immediately preceding financial years. What if the company spends the amount? Very good. Excellent job. But what if you are unable to spend the amount is unspent? Then step 1 says, within 6 months, you have to transfer that amount to a fund specified in Schedule 7. This we studied in the earlier point. And the board will specify in its report the reasons for not spending the amount. So students, you can pause the video, write this in your notebook. Then if this amount, unspent amount, relates to an ongoing project, the point which we are discussing now, then step 1 says, within 30 days from the end of the financial year, that is by 30th April, within 30 days from the end of the financial year, it means on 31st March, my financial year it ends, then 30 days from that is 30th April, I have to transfer the unspent amount to a special account to be opened by the company in a scheduled bank. So see, you are supposed to spend the amount every year. This year, I was not able to spend the amount. Okay, so let's say in the year 2021, I had to spend 4 crores. I spent only 3 crores. So this 1 crore, I will have to transfer to a separate account known as the unspent CSR account. This account will be opened in a scheduled bank, and this transfer will be made by 30th April 2021 because my year will end on 31st March 21. So within 30 days, that is by 30th April 21, I need to transfer this amount. See, you have not spent in this year. Now the year is over. So within 1 month, you have to transfer. Now this is an ongoing project, students. It's an ongoing project. It doesn't mean that I am not going to use that amount. I will be using that amount, but in the next year. So you have not used that amount. It's an ongoing project. You use it next time, but don't keep it with the company. The company may spend it. So we will transfer that amount. Now, how to use that amount? Spend it as per the company's CSR policy within 3 financial years from the date of transfer. See, the project will also get over in 3 years. So you have to spend that amount within the 3 financial years. What if we don't spend even then? Failure to spend the amount, the company shall within 30 days from the completion of the 3rd financial year transfer the unspent amount to a fund specified in Schedule 7. So there are 2 provisions. One applies to normal CSR amount unspent. The second applies to CSR amount which is for an ongoing project. So I will be using next year. So transfer it. Use it from that account within the next 3 years. Use it. Your project is ongoing, no? If you're not able to use, as soon as the 3rd year from the transfer ends, we will transfer that unspent amount to a fund specified in Schedule 7. So you can pause the video, students, and write this. Okay. So any unspent amount will be transferred within 30 days to an account which is known as the unspent corporate social responsibility account. Amount shall be spent in pursuance of its obligation within a period of 3 financial years from the date of transfer. If not, then the company will transfer the same to a fund specified in Schedule 7 within 30 days from the end of the completion of the 3rd financial year. So I have given it in a simplified manner in the form of a chart. Then we have CSR implementation. Oh, this is quite lengthy. Yes, many amendments in CSR. CSR implementation. See, now I want to conduct CSR activities. So what are the options available? This is also an amendment. The company shall ensure that the CSR activities are undertaken either by the company itself or through Section 8 company, registered public trust, or registered public society. So the company may conduct these activities on its own. They can have their own CSR, maybe an NGO or a Section 8 company, or through any other Section 8 company, registered public trust, or registered public society. Now, students, please note that these Section 8 companies, trust, society can be incorporated by the company itself, or it can be a third party also. It can be any other entity also. All of them must be registered under Section 12A of the Income Tax Act. That is because if you want tax concessions, as well as approved under Section 80G of the Income Tax Act. Every entity covered above that intends, this is very important, can be asked as MCQ. They shall register. Earlier that was not a requirement, but if you are saying that you are claiming I am incurring expenses on behalf of the company, register yourself so that we can track you, so that we come to know how you are spending that amount. They shall register with the central government by filing form CSR 1. That CSR 1 is important. You need to remember that. Electronically, it has to be filed with effect from 1st April 2021. Provided that provisions of this sub-rule will not affect any CSR programs approved prior to this date. So for that, you need not get it registered. But yes, if you want to continue carrying out CSR activities, then your Section 8 company or registered public trust, etc. needs to be approved. Like we have Reliance. So they conduct their CSR activities through the company. They have incorporated the Reliance Foundation. So the company has incorporated a Section 8 company by itself. So similarly, you can also have your own Section 8 company or a trust or a public society which can carry on CSR activities. You can also have an entity which is established specially for that. Form CSR 1 shall be signed and submitted electronically. This is the procedure for CSR registration by these companies. It will be signed and submitted electronically by the entity, and it will be verified digitally by a chartered accountant or a company secretary in practice or a cost accountant in practice, like how the other forms are attested. On submission of the form on portal, so it's an online procedure, a unique CSR registration number will be generated by the system automatically. So now, if you are carrying on CSR expenditure for the company, we can keep a track of all your activities. Sometimes it happens that we, let's say, pay 1 crore rupees to this company for carrying on CSR activities, nothing is carried out. They return to us, let's say 95 lakhs, 5 lakhs is their commission for giving us fake bills. So to stop all that, to ensure that the benefit actually reaches the society, the government has introduced registration. Company may engage international organizations for designing, monitoring, evaluation of CSR projects as per the CSR policy, as well as for capacity building of their own personnel for CSR, because this is an activity which is carried on by foreign entities since many years. If you want them to come and train your employees or personnel, then you can do so. So company may engage, that is also considered as CSR spending. A company may collaborate with other companies for undertaking projects or programs in a manner that CSR committees of respective companies are in a position to report separately on such projects, programs in accordance with these rules. Let's say I am company A. I cannot perform this activity on my own. It requires a huge budget. So I have collaborated with company B. Let us both adopt a village and we will try to transform it. We will improve the sanitation, we will bring electricity, we will make some school. So both have collaborated, but both companies CSR committees, okay, the CSR committee of both the companies should be in a position to report separately that my company has contributed X amount of rupees. These are the activities that we are. The committee of company B should be able to distinguish that these are the activities which we have spent on, although they are doing it together, but separate accounting, reporting should be maintained by the committee so that they can report it to the board, and board will ultimately report it to the members. These are few extra points like CSR expenditure. See, now you're forming committees, you will employ people, they will travel, they have to incur many expenses, administrative expenses. All that money will be charged to the company. Now the company is in a fix. You are expecting us to spend on CSR. Then you are expecting us to spend on these administrative overheads also. It's like spending more than what we intend to. Government says relax. If let's say your expenditure this year is 4 crores, okay, you need to spend 4 crores, that is 2% of the average net profit, you have to spend 4 crores. But we know that to undertake these activities there are so many administrative expenses incurred. Like I want to construct a school in some village, or I want to construct 100 toilets in that village. So I send 2 persons over there to conduct a survey. They will talk to people, the panchayat, whether they are ready to construct sanitation. Will they send their will people use it? We have to train them, educate them. Actually, if you want to set up a school, you want to promote education, the people have to travel far away for that. So if you are sending people to first conduct a survey, they will stay there, they will take some space, as an office or some place where they can work. All these are administrative overheads. that money will also be spent from this CSR fund. Okay, so 4 crore is my this year's spending. Maximum 5% can be allocated from this amount only to the overheads. I think that setting a maximum limit is a very good move. Otherwise, what will they say? Yes, we need to spend 4 crores. No, 1 crore we spent. 1 crore was spent on administrative overheads. What was done on administrative? Nothing. We just gave a lot of salary to employees and then told them to give us cash, withdraw it and give us cash. Maximum amount that you can spend on overheads is 5%. So that you don't misuse this expenditure head and say that no, we have spent on CSR. So administrative overheads is also defined. It is for general management, administration of CSR functions. It will not include expenses incurred for designing, implementation, monitoring, evaluation of the particular project. Now, I have engaged a contractor to build the toilets. I have engaged an architect to build that school. They will charge fees. All that will not be included in the administrative overhead because that will definitely be more than 5%. Now, let's say that the contractor is taking 50 lakh rupees. Okay. So in that case, that will not be considered in the overhead part. Any surplus arising out of the activities will not form part of profit. We had discussed some of these points earlier. The surplus arising from CSR activities. Now, luckily, I conducted an activity and I earned more than I spent. It will not form part of business profit. You cannot say, oh, this is some business activity, it is business profit, I will use it for my trading, I will use it for my business. No, it shall be plowed back. It shall be again employed in the same project. Or if you don't want to use it for that project, then transfer it to unspent CSR account and spend it in pursuance of the CSR activity and annual action plan of the company. Or you can also transfer this surplus to a fund specified under Schedule 7 within a period of 6 months from the expiry of the financial year. Okay. So either you use it for that project only, you put it back in the project, or you transfer it to unspent CSR account and then you spend it further. You can spend it later. Or you transfer it to a fund specified in Schedule 7 within 6 months from the end of the financial year. If the company spends excess amount, we have discussed this. Why have I repeated the points? Because what if a short note is asked on CSR expenditure? You should be able to write this. Contents of the policy. This is same as earlier. There is no change over here. Display of CSR activities on the website if the company has a website, so that we come to know what are the areas in which they are spending money. One important provision, impact assessment. What is impact assessment? Impact assessment, now the word impact means what is the effect that your CSR activity has on the society. Now that impact cannot be judged in a short period of time. You need like a year or two, to know the impact of your CSR activity, whether people are actually benefiting from it or not. So every company having average CSR obligation of 10 crores or more in the in the 3 immediately preceding financial years shall undertake impact assessment. So if I am a company whose CSR obligation, that is spending, is 10 crores or more, I will take an average of the last 3 years. If it is 10 crores or more, I will have to undertake impact assessment through an independent agency, someone who is unbiased, of the CSR projects. Now, wait. This talks about the eligibility. Who has to conduct impact assessment? If you are a company whose average CSR obligation is 10 crores or more. Okay, do we have to undertake impact assessment for every project that we are carrying out? No. only those projects wherein your outlay, that is spending, is more than 1 crore. So if you are spending more than 1 crore on a project, then only for that project you need to take in impact assessment. And those projects which have not been completed, which have been completed not less than 1 year before undertaking the impact study. To summarize this, eligibility. If my average CSR obligation is 10 crore or more in the immediately preceding 3 financial year, average is of 3 years, then I have to undertake impact assessment of which project. Now let's say I have 4 projects. In one project I have spent 2 crores, other project 50 lakhs, I have a third project of 3 crores, and I have a small project of let's say 20 lakhs. I need to undertake impact assessment only for these 2 projects because they are more than, the spending over here is more than 1 crore. And impact assessment will be only for the period which is more than a year, because for knowing the impact you have to wait for some time. You will not know the impact within 2 or 3 months, and which have been completed not less than 1 year. Okay, so older than 1 year projects, for them we will conduct impact assessment. Okay, for projects which are older than 1 year, the impact assessment report will be placed before the board. That's okay. The company may book the expenditure towards social corporate responsibility for that year. So the expenditure which you have incurred for impact assessment, nothing comes free. To carry on the assessment, you have engaged an independent agency. They will charge money, no? That can be recovered from the CSR responsibility of that year, but it should not exceed 5% of the total CSR expenditure, or 50 lakhs, whichever is less. So let's say that the agency, they charge 30 lakhs from me. Compare it with 50 lakhs, whichever is less. So 30 lakhs. I can reduce that from my expenditure spending. If they charged 80 lakhs from me, then 50 lakhs, that is the maximum amount which I can charge to the CSR money expenditure of that year. In case we fail to comply with any of these provisions, there are penalty provisions which apply. You have to memorize them. So that was all about CSR. There are 2 annexures which I don't think are important for exam. The company shall annex with a board report and annual report on CSR in the format annexure 1 for financial year 2021, annexure 2 with effect from financial year 21-22. So this is the format for reporting on CSR.